Morning. How we doing?
Morning.
Morning. You all right?
Yep.
Morning, morning, morning. Morning.
In the repair shop today, the glamorous world of furniture restoration.
A lot of it looks like spiders or woodlouse eggs or something pretty grim.
As Will transforms a table laden with happy memories.
I want to clean all of that up before I get some glue in there.
While Brenton takes on a beautiful bronze statue.
What is she, a dancer? Or?
Does she look like a dancer?
She looks like she's dancing, though, is it?
Yeah.
Depicting a deadly femme fatale.
She is actually an assassin.
Oh, not quite dancing, then. Okay.
As metal expert Dominic Chinea readies himself for the day's endeavours, the first visitor arrives.
Hello, I'm Dom.
Hi, Dom.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, my name's James Miller.
James, lovely to meet you.
And you?
What have you got for us?
Let's see.
Let's take a look. Brilliant. Right, let's get it in the barn. So, please, tell me a bit about this.
Well, it's a child's pedal car that's been much loved over the years in the family.
Oh, so it's actually, I see it's actually got pedals inside so your feet would sit.
Absolutely.
It's a brilliant thing. I've got to say I'm a little bit jealous. I had like a little plastic tractor that had nothing quite like this. So, did you used to play with this as a kid?
No.
No.
It wasn't in the family then. It was actually given to us by one of my wife's uncles.
Okay.
He gave it to my son, Gordon, who was first in the car between the age of 3 and 4. And my youngest son, Stuart, has also played in the car.
You must have a lot of memories attached to this. With
Many memories.
Seeing your kids whizzing around on it.
Yeah. They're now 6.5 foot tall, so I'm afraid
they don't fit.
Not fitting.
If I owned something like this, I'd be squeezing in it for as old as I could. It's a brilliant thing. It's beautiful. And do they have kids now to pass it on to? Or?
Stuart has 2 children who are 6 and 9.
Perfect size. Yeah.
And the idea is to pass it on to the kids and hopefully the grandkids, children. Who knows?
Who knows, yeah. So tell me about the missing steering wheel. This looks a little bit dangerous as it is.
I used that little bracket there to attach a coat hanger, bent round into the shape of a sort of pilot's in the cockpit.
Brilliant. I can just imagine sitting there, slightly terrifying. But yeah,
but they
wobbly
loved it.
little coat hanger.
They've got many memories of it, so they must have loved it.
So what are you hoping that we can do to it?
Just make it look nice again. It just needs a bit of TLC. You can see that some of the remains of the loft are still there.
It's obviously been stored in your loft. I was going to comment on that, actually. Yeah. But it's probably for the best, to be honest, because I think, obviously, being dry, you've kept it in a good spot, so it's not too rusty, not too rotten. It's
the body.
It looks OK.
It's fine. You know, it would just be fantastic to see her come back to life as the car that she was. And it would be so nice to see it passed down the family to the grandchildren, and who knows, maybe their children. I mean, it's lasted, I think, between 50 and 60 years at the moment.
No reason why it can't last for another 50.
With a little bit of help from yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for bringing it in.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Both my sons are very excited at the fact that one of the toys that they played in nearly 40 years ago is getting a chance of a second life. We were lucky enough to have the space to keep the car, and boy, I'm glad we have now, because it will be nice to see it go through the family and the kids playing with it again.
I thought you would have driven away on this by now.
Isn't it cool?
It is very cool. But it's seen better days, though, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. It's structurally OK, but it needs a bit of help in the cosmetics department.
All right, so what are you going to do?
It'll all have to be cleaned, sanded back, get rid of all the rust.
All the rust.
Repair the dents, and then polish it all back up. It's a lot of work, but then that obviously runs into the next problem of the chrome. We can't have nice, shiny paint.
And rusty chrome. And if you're doing that chrome and the exhaust...
You're kind of committed to
You've got to do the wheels.
Can't have shiny wheels, can we? The biggest bit you've not noticed.
Yeah, it's James's steering. Well, not James's steering wheel, because his style was to put a coat hanger in there.
Yeah.
And that's
we
not
can't
steering wheel, is
we
it?
can't have that. I've been thinking about it, and I'd really like to make like a miniature replica of the
this
original
car.
of this style of steering wheel from this era.
Yeah.
When it obviously of a full-size car. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that would be a nice touch. I do like that.
That would be great.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers, Dom.
This is really nostalgic for me, working on this. I spent years and years and years as an apprentice in a car garage, like doing this, working on old classic cars. It's really nice to actually work on something a bit smaller for a start. Is quite nice, but it's bringing back lots of happy memories. So I'm now going to strip it right back to a bare shell, which then I can send to be sandblasted and strip off all of this old flaky paint. Finally, it's been a bit of a fight to get that out. I'm really glad that's out. It's actually come out okay. My main worry was denting the rim, but that's great news. Just got 3 more to do now.
While Dom gets on fixing the mini motor, another visitor is pulling up. Next to consult the repair shop is Steve Cooney.
Hi there. I'm Will.
Hi, Will. Right.
Very nice to meet you.
He's brought an item steeped in nostalgia for the attention of furniture restorer Will Kirk.
So what do we have here? It looks like a tray, like your food on there and your drink and...
It's actually a table. It's a table that my grandfather used to sit at. So it's actually got a mechanism underneath here, so you can let the legs out.
Oh, my word. It's a bit unstable.
Yeah, it's a little bit wobbly now. I think it's an old gaming table or card table, and this lifts out, and you've got the brown bit underneath, some brown baize.
I'm guessing this is sort of 1940s.
Yeah, I've always thought it was 1940s, 50s, but
Yeah.
I'm no expert.
OK, how do you get that flat again? You just go like that. So why is this table so important to you?
I've got so many wonderful memories of my granddad sitting at this table, having his dinner off of it, and I used to sit with him and do the pulls on the Saturday. I don't know if you...
Did you ever bring him any luck?
I think he did win once.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I think it was a few hundred, but yeah, he did win once.
So I take it that you were quite close with your granddad then?
I was very close, yeah. My nan and granddad were a wonderful, wonderful couple. Whenever we went to stay with him, he always set his time out to look after us, to, you know, be with us. Spending time up in his shed, you know. He was a hard-working man, never out of work, always working. He never reached riches or anything like that, but his family were everything to him. When he died in 1984, my nan moved into a flat, and there was loads of stuff that all being prepared to be thrown away. And I just said, no, I'm going to have the table, I want to repair it. And I can remember just picking it up and sniffing these little brown bits, and I could smell Worcester sauce on there. It just brought Grandad back straight away. And still does. If I open a bottle of Worcester sauce, it brings my Grandad back straight away.
What would you like me to do with this table?
Well, I'd just like it to be a functional table again, really,
Yeah.
so we can use it. As you saw, it was quite wobbly when it's standing, so if that could be improved, that'd be brilliant. I mean, the baize really is gone now, so I think it's probably going to need to have new baize on it. It's a shame to lose the old staining, but the memories are still there, and that's what really counts. It's got a lot of lovely memories, and I'm hoping if you can do something with it, I can carry on using it with my family, with my grandchildren sitting at the table with me.
Well, I will see what I can do. Thank you for coming down,
Thanks
Steve.
ever so much, Will.
Thanks.
Thank you. My granddad meant the world to me and my brothers. He was always there for us when we went to visit, and I think he'd be absolutely thrilled to see this table being renovated.
So we're doing well. Any plans for Steve's card table?
Lots of plans. Lots of plans. This is a bit wobbly, if you look at that.
A bit wobbly. Cool.
Imagine eating your dinner, Jane. You've got a cup of tea there. It's going all over the place.
You'd be on a ship, wouldn't you?
And then your Worcester sauce is going all over the place as well.
Yeah. So stop the wobbly.
Stop the wobbly.
Fix the
size and polish up the woodwork. But also this baize, which has sort of been chewed away. So I need to think about what to do with the baize.
Yeah. I think we're going to get Sonnaz to recover it. Sonnaz, if you don't mind coming over. What we're thinking, Sonnaz,
Yes.
is getting you to recover top and bottom.
It'd be great if you could think of
Something.
some clever idea to sort of repurpose this baize.
So a request from Steve was to keep hold of this material.
It's for me,
It's for you.
but for Steve. I think
Okay.
Steve would definitely appreciate
It's a nice
it.
touch.
I
We
think
love
it's
doing
nice.
nice touches. We love doing nice touches. So I do like your thinking, Will.
There's a few ideas that have come to mind, actually.
Really, that was quick.
I know. But if you wanted me to take these off, I could take them off instead of you doing them.
That'd be great if you could take this off
it?
me,
Is
please.
that-
That'd be great.
Yeah, would that be helpful?
That would be helpful.
OK, I can do that.
But we need some new baize.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Jay,
what I'll do, I'll get ordering. All right.
Thanks, Jay.
I'll take this and get those sides off.
Thank you, Sonnaz.
Outside in the metal workshop, Dom is waiting for the bodywork of the pedal car to return from sandblasting, ready to be repainted in its racy red livery. But in the meantime, he's working on the missing features.
This is the start of quite an exciting part of the restoration of this pedal car. This is going to be the steering wheel. It's going to look really good, and I think it's going to set off the pedal car fantastically.
Ever ambitious, ex-classic car restorer Dom is returning to his roots, crafting a precise mini replica of a real 1950s racing car steering wheel.
I've got my main centrepiece all polished up now. What I'm going to do is make a little sandwich with the wood either side, aluminium in the middle. The glue that I'm using is basically suitable for sticking mixed materials together. I'm just going to stick that on there. OK, happy there. So now I just need to clamp it. Once this glue goes off, I'm never going to get this off again, so I've really only got one go at this. OK, that looks great, happy with that. I'm now going to put this to one side, let that dry, let that glue go off properly before I take these clamps off. And then I can actually start shaping the wood.
But before Dom can make a start, Jay's had a delivery from the sandblasters.
How it is, Dom?
Oh, wow. Oh, dear. Is it OK?
No, it looks good. That's all right.
Looks like a bit like a spaceship now, doesn't it, this grey?
Yeah. But it's a blank canvas, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm relieved. But the problem is now, this is the more we're rubbing our hands over it, we've got grease on our hands, this is going to
Yeah.
contaminate the metal now.
Yeah.
It will all start going rusty, so we need to get some paint on this pretty quickly.
OK. Is that a job for me or is it a job for you?
I'm spraying it, so I'll probably do
That's
it.
you?
I don't want to ruin your shirt.
All right, I'll leave you to it.
I'm under a certain amount of time pressure now, so I basically need to get some primer on it as quick as I can. Before I do that, it's time to tackle these dents. Tools for this, I'm going to be using a hammer and then a dolly. So this is a little guide, keep it nice and level, and then I'll just tap it from underneath. A lot of it's done by sound. When there's a gap between the dolly and the metal, it sounds very dull. As soon as the metal starts to touch this, it's got a bit more ring to it. There, that. It kind of gives me a clue that I'm almost there.
With the surface smoothed of dinks and dents, Dom can airbrush on a coat of protective primer.
This is now the final layer of paint. And this is the bit that James is going to see. It's the bright, shiny red paint. I want to be so careful not to get runs and bits in it, and I just don't want anything to go wrong now. It looks really good. I just want to get it off here and start putting it back together, but I'll leave it, let it dry, come back in a bit.
The team in the workshop is accustomed to working with distinguished pieces from all over the globe. And this morning, Claire Riley from Cheshire has arrived with a precious cargo.
Let me take that from you.
Thank you.
For the attention of silversmith Brenton West.
So what have you got in the box?
I have brought Salome.
Okay.
She's a French Art Deco bronze, recently given to us by my wonderful mother-in-law, Hazel. Yeah, she is balancing a bit precariously on one leg.
That's lovely.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Tell me about her.
Well, she's been in the family possibly since she was new. She was a wedding present to my husband's great aunt and uncle round about the turn of the century, possibly 1912.
Okay.
She was then handed down to his grandparents. It then went to my husband's mother, who has recently moved into a retirement flat, so she's downsizing, so she's very generously given Salome to us.
Oh, wow.
And we're delighted to have her.
Your turn.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. It's a lovely story. It's a really nice object made by
Claire Colinet.
Claire Colinet, a famous French sculptor.
Yeah, I'm very fond of her. I mean, this is a sort of period of art that I'm particularly keen on, as is my husband.
And what is the damage? What is the problem with her?
You can see she's quite precariously balanced. The piece is called Dance of the Daggers.
Okay.
It depicts Salome dancing round the head of John the Baptist.
Okay, poor chap.
So she should have a dagger in each hand.
Okay.
There should be one pointing down into the base.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure she should have one between her teeth. And
So-
there's only one surviving one, which is
Can I have
in
a look at
there.
that?
Yeah.
Gosh, they're small, aren't they? So how did all this damage occur?
Well, back in 2007, my mother and father-in-law's house was severely flooded. The river burst its banks and it filled the ground floor of the house with about 4 to 5 feet of water. So it was really quite devastating for them.
But they managed to find this in the silt somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, I think actually that one dagger that's surviving was found during the clear-up.
That's amazing that was found, because it's so small, isn't
That's
it?
the only one. And she hasn't really been cleaned properly
Okay, so
since then, and it was very red, silty river water
I can see
that she was submerged.
I can see some red on there, so
Yeah.
that's not part of the design then.
I don't think so. She is like one of the family, you know. My husband remembers it being in his grandmother's house.
Of course, yes.
And then being in his mother's house. She's always been there, you know. She's
It's lovely that it survived the flood,
Yeah.
and it'll be really nice to have her spruced up. So
it
that
would just be nice to have her complete again, you know, back to how she should be, and to keep her on display.
Okay, well, I'd better get busy then. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Brenton. Salome's been in the family since she was new. A lot of family history. She's been well loved by everyone whose care she's been in. To see her damaged in the flood was quite devastating, because she's such a beautiful item, and it will be really lovely if Brenton can get her back to her full glory.
The red on her dress that Claire was talking about, I feel might be a colouring and not river silt, because if it was river silt, then there'd be red in other places, which there isn't. Saying that, the flood has made the statue absolutely filthy, and there is lots of dirt to come off it, but I think this red I'm not going to pursue removing. I'm going to try and keep as much of it as possible. I think it will clean up, but I don't want to destroy the original patina. Now, the knives, luckily, Claire's family managed to find the one knife. It gives me something to copy, gives me something to use as a model or a template to make the additional knives, and there's a lot of work in making 3 knives like this. She's quite frail looking on the foot, so the first thing I've got to do is to get this statue off of the base and see why her foot has come loose.
Claire Colinet pieces are considered highly collectible. This is one of a series of exotic dances she produced in Paris in the first part of the 20th century.
The flood has caused the metal nut to rust on the bottom here, so the first thing I've got to do on this is to get that nut undone and hope it doesn't break. I think that's moving. Actually, I think, oh, yeah, that's coming off. Let's see if there's any river in here. Oh, look at that. She wasn't lying when she said it got flooded.
One down, one more to go. Brenton now has a really tough nut to crack, the one through Salome's wobbly foot.
So what I'm going to try and do now is undo that and hope that doesn't snap off, because this one actually is a lot worse to snap off because this one actually goes up inside her leg, and that would be a disaster for me. Oh, this is actually coming off so much more easily than I thought it was. Yeah, that's gone.
It's a team effort to renovate the 1940s card table. While Sonnaz tackles the baize top, Will deals with the wooden structure.
Not only are the legs wobbly, but the sides have also opened up really badly. I can see that there's a crack down there as well. Lots of loose screws, old glue. Everything needs to be unscrewed, cleaned out, glued, clamped, and then we're gonna have a nice strong table.
For the last few years, this table has been stored in a barn, which has added its own distinct brand of embellishment.
You can see there's so much dirt going down that groove there. Some of it is old glue that's dried up, but a lot of it looks like spider's eggs or woodlouse eggs or something pretty grim, so I want to clean all of that up before I get some glue in there. Already you can see how that gap has completely closed up. So I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the corners, clean them all out and get some fresh glue in there, clamp it up, and we should be one step closer to having a sturdy table. Right, here's the moment of truth. Look at that. Look at that. It's probably the sturdiest it's been since it was first made.
With the table now stable, it's down to Sonnaz to top it off.
The original baize wasn't actually glued on or adhered to the wood in any way. It was only stapled along the sides of the frame, so I'm going to do exactly the same. It's a really nice, very simple way of fixing them on, actually. So what I like to do is I like to just pick an end, pop a holding staple in it, and then work in opposites. That way I know that I'm getting an even tension.
original fabric won't be thrown away.
We know how precious that this original baize is to Steve. I'm making some coasters from it so that he can use it on the card table. I've strategically picked some of the areas that have got the most stains on them. Typically, you'd actually try and avoid the stains, but because he spoke so much about the stains of the Worcestershire sauce, I thought it'd be really nice so that for them to be obvious. So what I'm thinking is, if I sew that down there beautifully, and then I hammer the edges, it should sit really nice and flat and look quite stylish as well. Having never made coasters like this before, or coasters before, I've got no idea if this is going to work or not.
Out in the metal workshop, Dom is cruising ahead with his renovation of the pedal car. His lovingly crafted reproduction steering wheel has been shaped to mimic the full-sized version.
Now I've got the wood sanded down to really nice fine grit, just where I need it. I'm going to stain it just to knock it down a little bit, make it a little bit darker. All the hours and hours of preparation and sanding and spraying and painting and welding have all been building up for this moment. Everything's here, the chroming's back, and it looks absolutely fantastic. My steering wheel's finished, ready to slide on. I can't wait to get it all back in place. I think seeing it gleaming shiny like this now, I can really imagining it sitting in the shop window in a toy shop. It's quite nice to think the next kid that rides in this, the next driver, you never know, it may inspire them to have a career in racing driving. You never know what this might spark. Yeah, I just can't wait to show him now. I really hope he likes it.
James Miller has arrived to collect the car his sons used to play in over 30 years ago. Now destined to be driven once again by his young grandchildren.
When we brought the car in, it was a little bit dusty. It didn't have a steering wheel. It didn't have a windscreen on it. It was scratched. It was just a bit neglected, I suppose. That's what 30 years in the loft does for you. When the car is completed, it will be in a state that's usable, where it certainly wasn't before, because that was always the target, was to get it back to a state where children and grandchildren can play with it in the years to come.
Hi. Good to see you again.
And you.
Hi.
How are you?
How you doing, Jay?
How are you? Yes,
Very good.
thank you.
Very good. This has brought us loads of fun, I must say. So how did your children enjoy this in the times that they were playing in it?
It's a long time ago now.
It is a long time.
The one that really played in it is now over 40 years old.
40 years old, yeah?
And he played in it when he was 3, 4.
Do you remember what it looked like when you brought it in?
Oh, yes. Hard to forget. All the little remnants of being in the loft for that length of time in the dust.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Come on, let's pull it off.
Let's pull it off.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That is fantastic. A steering wheel, look at that. It's brilliant.
It's handmade.
Yeah. I feel like it deserved something special. So.
That is certainly something special. Wow. Speechless. Which doesn't come very often.
Just looks amazing. It looks the part.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So who's going to get the first ride?
It's probably going to be our granddaughter, who's 6. I can assure you she would be desperate to get in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a lot of hard work, but
Yeah, it has been a lot of work.
it's worth it in the end.
I
Look
can
at it.
see it. I can see things like wheel covers
Yeah,
well
they're
there.
new. Yeah.
Yeah, they're new.
I'm dying to see the other exhaust pipe.
Oh, the exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
It's all the original chrome parts, but just had them re-chromed.
The wheels?
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
goodness,
re-chromed, yeah.
Full tank?
Yeah. Ready for its first ride down the hill. Yeah, ready to go. Go on, James.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
But lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Really, really
You're
thank you.
welcome.
The family will think of you, because that's a fantastic bit of work.
Good.
Things you guys can do.
He's blown away, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for bringing it.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it in.
The guys have done a phenomenal job. Didn't think it would be anything as professional as that. You can see that Dom's poured his heart into that one, and I'm sure the kids will really enjoy seeing it and playing in it. My son is going to wish, when he sees it, that he was small enough to fit inside it. Racing car number 6 returns to the track.
Metal expert Brenton has reached a crucial stage with his damaged bronze statue, getting Salome securely back on her feet.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here to fill up the gap so that when it's tightened down, it won't wobble. The glue will be packing the gap. We're just going to put that back in the right way around. Make sure that's the right way around, because last thing we want to do is stick that in there and then it's not the right way around. So just need to leave that for a couple of hours to dry.
With the statue stabilised, work can begin on cleaning the tarnished surface.
Parts of the body are very dirty, and I'm just going to give them a little wipe over with some water and a tiny bit of alcohol, and there'll be nothing more aggressive than that. So you can see that there's a lot of the red colour on the dress. So when people have polished it, they've always gone like this, which takes the highlights off and not the low parts. So on the dress itself, I'm just going to use plain water just to get the dust out of the cracks. So it's really nice to be working on a Claire Colinet sculpture. She's very famous. She was prolific. She made lots and lots of sculptures. It's just nice to be working on a little piece of history.
Brenton's next task is to restore this elegant assassin's fearsome daggers, to replace the ones lost to river silt more than 10 years ago.
So I've got 3 different components: brass balls with holes in them, brass rod, which is round, and I've got some brass bar that I'll make the blade from. This is quite intricate work. It's filing a lot of metal off, but it has to be done accurately, because if I go over the centre line, it'll look like the knife isn't straight. And as you can see, we're starting to get a bit of a blade there. I find it important, if I'm making parts for old items, they don't want to look like they're new and they've just been machined today. So the only last thing I'm going to do to this is just to scratch it up a little bit with the lathe, just to give it a rough sort of handmade look rather than a brand new machine-made look.
Finally, it's time to assemble the dagger's component parts and solder them together.
Okay, so I'm just mixing some flux up, which is a piece of borax and some water in this dish. And what the flux does is it helps the solder to flow and keeps the joint from oxidising when I'm heating it up. So, get this all up to temperature. Brilliant, I'm happy with that. I've got to make the blade silver, like that one, but not the handle. So I've got a magic solution, and there'll be some alchemy going on here. So this is a chemical reaction, and the silver becomes part of the brass. So it's not paint, it's actually part of the brass now. And as long as it's not over polished, it'll last forever. So I'll just give that a quick polish. It's a really quick transformation. That's changed that from a piece of brass to a proper weapon there.
Will is also nearing the end of his assignment. The folding card table that holds so many fond recollections for its owner.
I'm sure to many people this must just look like your sort of average fold-down table, but to Steve, sort of so many memories of sitting on Grandad John's lap and doing the pulls. And it just sort of goes to show that something so small and simple in design like this can hold so many memories and sort of almost take you right back to being a child.
With the restoration complete, owner Steve has returned to the repair shop to be reunited with his beloved granddad's card table.
The last time I remember seeing the table being used was when my granddad was alive, and he died in 1984. So it's long overdue having it repaired. It was in a really sorry state when I brought it along, and I'm really excited to see what Will's done to it.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Will. Good to see you again.
Nice to have you back, matey.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, moment of truth. I'm really excited about seeing what it's going to look like.
Ready?
Oh, wow. Look at the colours that come out in it. God, that's amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm really pleased with it because what I like is it doesn't look as if you've made it into a new table. It still looks like a 1940s table. It's wonderful.
And the colours come up really well as well, which was...
Yeah, I'm amazed. That's what stands out. The colours in the wood have come out wonderful. I can't believe what a lovely job you've done of that.
It was really a joint effort. Sonnaz, our upholsterer, recovered the board. And then I did all the woodwork and the polishing. It's also quite stable,
Yeah.
as stable as it's going to be with a fold-down table. The legs are slightly more rigid,
Yeah.
so they don't sort of flap all over the place.
Oh, well.
There you go.
Fantastic. No, I can't thank you enough. It's really
Right,
brilliant.
thank you.
Thank you. And can you thank...
Sonnaz, yeah. She removed the old fabric off the top. She's actually used the same fabric and made you some mats.
Oh, fantastic. I can't believe that. My old granddad he's been touching that over the years. Fantastic. Brilliant. It's really lovely. I'm quite emotional actually thinking about it. And do thank her for me.
Will do. Thank you again for bringing it
Thank
down
you.
and letting me work, and it's been a real pleasure. And this has been really something quite special.
Yeah, it's very special to me. Thank you. Thank you ever so much. I'm just overjoyed. I'm absolutely overjoyed. My granddad was, he was the most loving grandfather you could ever want. And it's just nice to have something tangible that we can still touch and know that he sat at that table. I'm going to be sitting behind it now. My children and grandchildren come and sit round it. We'll probably have a big photograph done of it. Brilliant.
Over on Brenton's bench, Salome's new daggers are ready to be fixed into place.
Hey, Brenton, you OK?
Right, yeah.
She looks lovely.
It's coming along.
What is she, a dancer? Or?
Does she look like a dancer?
She looks like she's dancing, though, is it?
Yeah. She is actually an assassin.
Oh, not quite dancing, then.
She's meant to have a knife in each hand.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Then she's meant to have one in her mouth, and I wasn't quite sure how that was meant to be. But I don't think...
Surely it doesn't go like that.
I don't think it's the sword swallow. I think it goes in...
I don't know, but then there is a hole.
There is a hole.
So maybe it does.
No, it's got to go in sideways, doesn't it? No,
It won't be that way.
No.
Maybe this had a pin or something.
So I'll make one with a pin on it, and then that's better, isn't it?
It really transforms it, doesn't it? From
She looks proper angry, doesn't she?
It's completely transforms her from being a dancer to something a little bit more sinister.
So the final bit of detail is to put the knife in. The knife, I've soldered a threaded bar on there, and that screws on from the bottom. So I'm just going to put that in the hole. Let's do that quickly. And then we're just going to put the bottom on and the original gold nut.
With Salome back to her lethal self, Claire and her husband Ian have returned to collect her.
She'd seen better days. She was balancing quite precariously on one leg. She did need a good clean.
I've known statue all my life, really. It's always been on a shelf, on a bookcase somewhere. It's been in my family for over 100 years, and now we're taking custodianship of her to look after and hopefully pass it on to our daughter.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Brenton. Lovely to see you again.
Nice to see you. And who have you brought with you?
This is my husband, Ian.
Oh,
made
Ian.
it.
Hi, Brenton.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you remember what she was like when she came in?
She was wobbly, dirty,
Daggerless.
daggerless.
OK, so I'll get her out for you.
Thank you.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, wow.
That's brilliant.
Oh,
And you've got the dagger in the mouth. I was wondering how you're going to do that.
well, she looks fantastic.
That's real,
Yeah.
as she was, yeah.
She's
And-
much more impressive with her daggers. They look fantastic. I'm not even sure which is the original one.
That's the idea.
You're very clever.
Well, yeah.
No, she's perfect.
Looking lovely, yeah.
And did you manage to fix the wobble?
The wobble is fixed.
Oh,
done.
brilliant. I wasn't sure how you do that either. Yeah,
There's
it's all...
bits of detail there that I've never noticed before.
She was very dirty.
Yeah.
What did you clean her with? That sort
I've
of...
just cleaned it with water and a little bit of alcohol.
OK.
The red is meant to be there on the dress.
Ah, right, OK. Because it was red silk that got into
I
her.
haven't touched the dress at all because I don't want the red to come off it, because that's meant to be there.
Right.
No,
Yeah, she's definitely got a nice
beautiful,
shine
isn't
about
she?
her.
Mm. Yeah, well done, you.
Great job.
Good. I'm glad you're really pleased with it.
Yeah,
And,
no, she's gorgeous. Oh, no, I can't wait to get her home. I miss not having her on
I know, yeah. She'll steal the show.
the... Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled. She looks gorgeous. Quite a dramatic transformation.
We're delighted with what Brenton's done. It's great to see her all fully complete.
She looks really impressive now that she's fully armed. You know, she's perfect.